Hey guys, I'm back with the second part of my expression of gratitude, etc., etc. Uh, you may now actually be thinking, well, whoa, wait, Sam. Why did you say the media first and not the protesters and the marchers? Well, there's a reason for it. If there is no messenger, the message almost doesn't matter. And I know that's a harsh way of putting it, but we can have a philosophy, a message, an ideal, and maybe over time it'll organically make its way. But in the day and age, the day and age of technology, of social media, of the internet, of social mass media, you need to have a messenger that's reliable. And even if they aren't reliable, just get exposure. Any exposure is good exposure. Just look at how Black Lives Matter began. Everything from Colin Kaepernick, all the negative attention he received, all the negative connotations with BLM that came with Colin Kaepernick, to now the messenger, aka the media, having, I don't know if you want to call it woke culture, but having somehow now become a rather reliable, dependable vehicle, messenger for the message of Black Lives Matter. So that is why I mentioned the media first. Having said that, a messenger is nothing without the message. And the message of Black Lives Matter is something not only do I align with, but something I grew up before the term was coined, obviously. But having had parents that came from a colonial a country that was colonized, and people were divided on the basis of race and religion, etc. I come to appreciate what America stands for in theory, but we haven't always been perfect in practice. And that is incumbent and the job of people that go to rallies, protests, and marches, and are marchers, and don't let up until not only are we, or marchers or ralliers and protesters, it's now not just enough to be a pebble in the foot of the giant. It's time we put their feet to the fire. And I honestly think that what has transpired in the last month has gone from, I don't know what kind of timeline we want to look at, but from being a gnat that was annoying the establishment, the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant hegemony in this country, to being a pebble in the foot of the giant. And then when the giant feels that they can keep on doing as they please, even with that pebble, or have somehow formed a callus, if you want, if you want to envision that imaging right there, a callus to, safeguard themselves from that little pebble in their foot, metaphorically speaking. Then it's time for the shoes to come off, the gloves to come off. It's time for feet to be held to the fire. And I honestly think that this has been the moment where that pit roast, or however it goes, has been kindled and fueled with the rage, but also with the sorrow, the sadness, the grief, the lack of progress on the side of not just social and racial inequities and injustices regarding the African American community, but also economic injustices, as well as for other minorities, for women, all across the board, from not making the same amount of money for the same job, on the basis of your sex, your race, uh, your sexual affiliation, and identification, and and so forth. So I have to say that I thank everybody that still continues to go out there and march and rally and protest. I was there here in Tulsa again 2.5 days, an hour and a half each day, 2 or 3 hours that other day, and I could barely keep up. Uh, just the physical, like I mentioned, emotional, psychological drain to be there every single day in, day out, marching, chanting, and being unified, and that physical exertion, that mental exertion, that psychological exertion of ideas coming together, that gives me goosebumps. It's giving me goosebumps right now. It's not just something of worthy of our admiration and of aspiring to, but it is something that we need to take heed of, to notice and understand the role of everybody, as I think this is a marked inflection point on our history, on our country's progress with regards to socioeconomic, sociopolitical, and racial balancing of historical inequities. So having said that, to everybody out there that's protesting, marching, chanting, rallying, walking, strolling, scootering, skateboarding, whatever it is, thank you. Please keep wearing your masks, and just keep the ball rolling, and keep the fire to the keep the fire to the feet, keep the feet to their fire, whatever. You get what my point is. All right. So let's keep it at that. I'm gonna make one final video, and that one final video is actually gonna be for a particular person. I don't know that person. I saw their name in the newspaper, but I'll leave you guys in suspense until the next final video in this series of thank you messages. Bye.